Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. So it's almost summertime. Anyway, I'm wearing my Romanian blouse because there's an international movement, La Blues Roumaine, started on the inspiration of Matisse, who painted all these Romanian blouses, inspiring in Romanian blouses during the war to beautify the earth. So here we are, trying to beautify. I was riding in my car, screaming at the night, screaming at the dark, screaming at fright. I wasn't doing nothing, just driving about, screaming at the dark, letting it out. That's all I was doing, just letting it out. Well, along comes a motorcycle, very much to my surprise. I said, "Officer, was I speeding?" I couldn't see his eyes. He said, "No, you weren't speeding," and he felt where his gun was hung. He said, "Lady, you were screaming at the top of your lung, and you were doing it alone, you were doing it alone, you were screaming in your car in a 20-mile zone, you were doing it alone, you were doing it alone, you were screaming." I said, "I'll roll up all my windows, don't want to disturb the peace. I'm just a creature who's looking for a little release." I said, "What's so wrong with screaming? Don't you do it at your games, when a quarterback breaks an elbow, when the boxer beats and maims. But you were doing it alone, you were doing it alone, you were screaming in your car in a 20-mile zone, you were doing it alone, you were doing it alone, you were screaming." I said, "Animals roar when they feel like." I said, "Why can't we do that too? Instead of screaming bonsai baby in a war, in a human zoo." He said, "I've got to take you in now. Follow me right behind, and let's have no more screaming like you're out of your mind." So he climbed aboard his cycle, and his red-eyed headlight beamed, and his motor started spinning, and his siren screamed. He was doing it alone, he was doing it alone, he was screaming on his bike in the 20-mile zone. He was doing it alone, he was doing it alone, he was screaming. I was doing it alone, I was doing it alone, I was screaming in my car in a 20-mile zone. I was doing it alone, I was doing it alone, I was screaming. We were doing it together, we were doing it together, we were screaming in the dark in the 20-mile zone. We were doing it together, we were doing it together, we were doing it together, alone in a 20-mile zone. Thank you. Thank you, I have to admit. Okay. So now, welcome our wonderful, wonderful duo. We are lovers in the dark. Now, I always mess this up. Here we are. Love me in the dark. Oops. Oh, here we are. Love me in the dark. My amazing friends who just celebrated their first meeting with a concert outdoors. And we are really, really honored to have them here by their fireplace. You can check out their website and download the CD and enjoy. So without further ado, please welcome Steve McCormick and Heather Donovan.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear us okay outside. Hopefully you can hear. Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, how wonderful.
These were falling, just like in their eyes. Somebody said they saw me swinging the world by the tail, bouncing over a white cloud. Killing blue. Now I'm guilty of something I hope you never do, because there is nothing any sadder than losing yourself in love. Somebody said they saw me swinging the world by the tail, bouncing over a white cloud. So you asked me just to leave you, set out on my own and get what I needed. You want me to find what I've already had. Somebody said they saw me swinging the world by the tail, bouncing over a white cloud, killing the blue. Somebody said they saw me swinging the world by the tail, bouncing over a white cloud, killing the blue. Over a white cloud, killing the blue.
It worked? It worked. Did it work? It worked.
Yeah, sounded good.
Cool.
Yay.
Good.
Elena, you want us to do another, or you want to move on and we can come circle back around?
You're muted.
Unmute myself. Okay. Can you stick around, Steve and Heather? Okay.
Yeah, we'll do another. Okay?
Do another song. Do another and then come back.
All right.
There's a moon, full moon, the sky, misty sky, hanging over Blue Ridge Parkway. It's a last goodbye. There's a moon, blue moon, and we watched every night go by. But we can't lay in the naked light forever. We can't dry our eyes, shining over, shining over, shining over, sing tonight. There's a moon, smoky moon, eclipsed by the shadows of the pine, shining over, singing shadows. Shining over, shining over, shining over, singing shadows. They kiss the moon. Shining over, shining over, shining over, sing the shadows. Kissing us goodbye. Kissing us goodbye. Kissing us goodbye.
For Elena.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Love me. Did somebody call my name? Okay. Well, let's start with Lois, since she's in such a such an exotic place.
I'm
Please.
in a quiet, kind of quiet space, but you know, I'm going to read something of someone else's to start.
Okay.
And this is a poem by a poet that I really love. Her name is Joanna Klink. And it's called Auroras. It began in a foyer of evenings. The evenings left traces of glass in the trees. A book and a footpath we followed under throat pipes of birds. We moved through a room of leaves, thin streams of silver buried under our eyes. A field of white clover buried under our eyes. Or a river we stopped at to watch the wind cross it, recross it. Room into room you paused, where once on a stoop we leaned back, talking late into daylight. The morning trees shook off twilight, opening and closing our eyes, auroras. Beyond groves and flora, we followed a road dotted with polished brown bottles, scoured furrows, a wood emptied of trees. It was enough to hollow us out. The evenings left grasses half wild at our feet, branches with space for winds. The earth changes, the way we speak to each other has changed, as for a long while we stood in a hall full of exits, listening for a landscape beyond us. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Lois. Lois B. Jones. Okay. John has disappeared. He's probably getting a drink. So we're going to go on with Sinead. Sinead McClure.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I'm not sure which way you do things. I just have a few poems to read. Do you want me to read them together, or do you want to just take one and come back? Or
We'll just do a couple and then come back, because I see that John has reappeared and he's anxious too. So
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Just go where you have to go. Follow the flow. I'm fine. I just was a little late putting my camera on. That's all.
okay. So do your set and then come back with one or two poems later on. So let me read a little bit about Sinead. Sinead McClure is a writer, radio producer, and illustrator. Her poetry and writing have been published in Pothead, Live Encounters, Crossways, Literary Journal, The Cabinet of Heat, Dodging the Rain, Step Away Magazine, New Ulster, The Acoustic Review, and RTJ Junior Radio. In March 2021, Sinead won the 8th of, I don't know how to pronounce this, but five-word International Poetry Prize. So welcome all the way from Ireland, Sinead McClure.
thanks very much for having me, Elena, and it's lovely to be here. I'm bringing you to Ireland now for the next 10 minutes. That's about it for the next few
Thank you.
poems. And it's just getting bright here. It's 5:20 in the morning. This time of the year is our brightest time of the year, so it's bright for about 17 hours. So we have 7 hours darkness. So it's nearly always bright. I'm going to start with that poem you mentioned, that one, Ovale, hard enough to pronounce. It's an Irish word. It means mouth, ovale, so open mouth. So actually it's an international prize, but what they do is they run it over an entire year, and each week they give out 5 words, and if people want to enter, they enter, but they have to include the 5 words. So it's quite an interesting poetry competition. And I'm just going to read you the poem that won, and it was inspired by, I suppose, I live rurally in northwest of Ireland in Sligo. And although I used to live in suburbia in Dublin, where I'm from originally, but I've used to looking at nature, I suppose. So a lot of the poetry I write maybe reflects that, and this one certainly does. And it was about the absence of a creature we have here called a badger. They're much maligned in rural Ireland as disease carriers. It's not the case, but they get blamed for things, and they're beautiful creatures, but unfortunately they're disappearing a little bit from our landscape. So this is called A Rook Longs for a Badger. Where did the badgers go? We miss their cuts, The cold wheels rut in snow, the nose-sized pockets. Knit these fields for years. Now we must peck deeper for our worms. Through new wet grass, frosted in ice, our feathers licorice black in the slick, soft Irish winter. Rook calls, don't cull, all should be full for nature to persevere. Cull and fall towards a constant winter. The next poem is on a similar topic. I've started writing a series of poems about nature and how it's under threat. And I've called these series cuttings. So they're like taking little cuttings, I suppose. They're kind of fragments of ideas and maybe things waiting to be planted. This is cuttings 1. If people could be plants, would there be enough room left for them to grow? If people could be plants, enough color for them to show off with or fade behind, blend in as ferns against rushes, or those flushes, the proud and the tall, orchids, alliums, dinner plate dahlias. Who would be the creeping buttercups that latch, pull others down, feet first, or knotweed who choke us in our long flower bed? If people could be plants, some would have to be trees. I have known human oaks, people who were wise and strong, who nurture us all. I've also known the not so tall, the ones with thorns to stab us. Plants and trees, weeds and wildflowers, a democracy down in the long acre where the meadow sweet blooms and the bird's foot trefoil grows, rich in its shadow. Or the continent of grasses on the lawn, where a dictatorship of nettles spreads a map beneath them, each blade upon a designated patch of twine, thin root. If people could be plants, there wouldn't be enough room for them to grow. Too many would want to throw the baby out with the bird bath water. Too many would want to toe the gravel line. Too many would want to slow the earthworm down. Too many would want to crow about who doesn't fit in the borders, who is too dark, too light, too lopsided, too organic, too botanic, too many ignorant of the mechanics of nature. People plants would reject the bees, poke their stamens skywards, ignore all that rots around them. Plants wouldn't want people to be them. They'd happily bury us all. And I'm just going to finish up with one more with the last poem here. It's slightly different. It's my take on modernity in a rural setting. And as the years have moved on, I suppose probably we've all seen it, modern and shiny things are moving towards us, no matter where we live. And I suppose it's not too much of a stretch to think up here where I live in the northwest of Ireland, that maybe someday we can join the space race. This is called Space Taxi. Soon I'll be able to hail an Uber to Mars. Well, not hail exactly. I will inform my driver I'm waiting on the corner at Kilty Tig beside the tall green house. I'll be there early, before the postman does his rounds, watching the heron fly over and the grey wagtail dance in the river. Then Uber can deliver me to the launch pad just off the bog road in Boyle, as good a place as any, well known for its UFOs. By then we'll all be flying everywhere anyway. One more liftoff will hardly be noticed. Maybe someone outfooting turf will remark on the plumes of smoke coughing across the fields towards them, wonder why the sloes have fallen off the blackthorn, or the fallow deer are galloping their way. But they'll get used to the daily flights and laugh like the rest of us at the irony of no bus route to Boyle, but a shuttle to Mars. When I'm strapped in, sucking my Simpkins travel sweets, hurtling towards the blue sky, Mrs. Higgins will lean across and ask, why are the windows so small? Or do you think there'll be tea? And I'll smile and nod and grit my teeth as the capsule separates with one neat shudder and outside cuts from blue to nothingness with stars. Soon, There'll be queues on the bog road to Boyle for the SpaceX Express to Mars, and the English couple in Clunloo will sell their farm fresh eggs and raw honey. Mrs. Tansey from Breechla will tout her box tea, and young Welsh will sell space rock with Knockatelli running through it in red sugar leading. By then I'll have forgotten all about my trip to Mars and my re-entry with a splash at the mouth of the Garavogue and waiting in the northwest rain for the train to Ballymote because I couldn't get a bus from Sligo back to the corner in Kilty-Tig when I could get an Uber to Mars. Thanks very much for listening.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay. Oops. All right. One of my lights went out. So now we'll welcome John DiFusco. John is an award-winning actor, writer, director. He's a Vietnam veteran, most known for conceiving and directing the landmark Vietnam play Traces, which premiered in LA at the Odyssey Theater. He directed a New York City premiere at the Public Theater, where it was published as in 10 best plays of 84-85. Newsweek called it a landmine of a play that blows complacency to shreds. John has acted and directed in numerous plays and has appeared in films and TV. As a writer, he has performed in spoken word events, Library Girl, Poetry in Motion, and the Rap Saloon. His poem collection, The Book of Johnny D, was a runner-up in the Hillary Gradenvik's poetry contest. John has written and performed 2 critically acclaimed solo shows, Walking Through Fire and The Long Way Home, Reflections on the Traces Journey. Backstage West said he once again proves himself able to share the purification of creation, the embodiment of Shelley's belief that poets are the unacknowledged legislators of the world. Please welcome John DiFusco.
Thank you. Thanks, Elena, for having me. I'm going to do 3 sort of straight through. I know you usually do a second round, so I've got a little something for that. But I'm going to do 3 poems straight through that deal with depression and anxiety. Coming out of the pandemic, I know that a lot of people had to deal with this, and I certainly had to deal with it myself, and I've dealt with it on and off over the years. So what did I do? I wrote about it. The first one is called Anxiety Meets Depression. The attacks are frightening. It starts somewhere in the back of my mind, a dark calling, an aching nerve from a hellish universe, fluttering and shaking my brain, cold sweating palms, increasing heart rate, and great, great fear. Terrible, paralyzing fear, a fear so great that it could kill you. The attacks happen in private. She's the only one there. I collapse on the couch. I convulse and quake, and strange voices come from deep inside of me. Strange exorcist type stuff. I breathe deep. I tell myself over and over that I am worthy. I am worthy. I try to relax. She holds my shaking, quaking body. And then a voice whispers, "Don't worry. Don't worry, it's not your time." And then it's over. This one is called The Shroud. It is so unexpected, this cover, this shroud, these shadows, this darkness, not seen in years, not seen since teenage Oedipal anger, angst, and homicidal tendencies, not seen since faceless, faithless Vietnam vet come home in adrenaline rush crazy car crash, not seen since college student misfit shadow warrior times, not seen since 30-year-old career disappointments, depression, and death wishes. Not seen since 1980s cocaine-fueled burnout, loss of life, falling, falling, and falling down, down, down to death on an Echo Park sidewalk. It's been so long that I didn't recognize him. I did not recognize the shadow. He follows me, a tall, slouching, caped, faceless villain. He circles me, he blocks me, he confronts me. Okay, everyone's still here? I got bumped off for a minute. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. So sorry. For some reason, I got bumped off. I'm going to pick up right where I left off. He confronts me, growling, seething, drooling, threatening, controlling my mind, dampening my spirit with memories and regrets, following me, chasing me down, 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 down to cold sweat, early morning anxiety, dancing with late night anger and rage, grappling with gut-wrenching guilt through the whole damn dark day. It's a stop motion freeze frame. It's a portrait. It's a portrait in the dark. It's a portrait in the dark. It's a stop motion freeze frame. It's a portrait in the dark. It's a mirror image of past, present, and future. Stop, think what to do. It's been so long, so long, so long. Where do I go? Where do I go from here with my impending 70th year? I got the therapy for my recovery. I got the little yellow pill for the demons that possess me. I got medical marijuana to free my mind and ease my pain. Warning, patients may experience euphoria. Numbing the nerves, fleeing the fear, escaping the demons with a little euphoria thrown in. It's a stop motion freeze frame. It's a portrait in the dark. I'm a wild wolf caged up, boxed in and combined. I'm howling at the moon. I'm banging my head. I'm singing the low down dirty blues with a guitar in my brain. The guitar in my brain. And a drum beat in my heart. Yeah, I'm standing at the crossroads and I believe I am sinking down. I've seen so much death, I can't even catch my breath. I'm reeling and I'm rocking and I'm rolling on home. It's a stop motion freeze frame. It's a portrait in the dark. It's a mirror image of past, present, future. It's light and shadow, a story through time. It's humans being and holy ghosts. Is it Satori? Is it Nirvana? Is it the end? It's a brick wall. It's a wake-up call. It's a generation journey through a path through all time. I'm a Viking and a Roman. I'm a pagan and a priest. I walked the red road and I've traveled to the east. I'm looking back. I'm looking way back. I got poems in my head and I got stories to tell. And now I'm 70 years old. So what the hell? At my age, it is time to rage. Yes, I rage against the dying of the light. I am searching for myself. I got to go back. I got to go way back to go forward. I got to chip away. I got to get close to the bone because I'm never alone. I got a true self. I got a real self. I feel it. I know it, a cosmic self, and I am Johnny Boy, the wild boy, the nature boy, the spirit boy, the holy boy, going way back to the fisherman's womb, the first cut, the first blood, the first scar, and the need to fly. So go, Johnny, go. Leave the journey, let the journey begin. I heed the call, a wandering knight in search of my grail, a warrior's heart in search of a tale. A clueless innocent, I plunge forward. Everything happens. The journey is rich, filled with passion, filled with force, all with the all. At 20, I am focused and determined. At 30, I am depressed and suicidal. At 40, I am riding high, invincible. At 50, I am cruising down the middle, knowing what I know. At 60, a burst of energy, a flowering of creativity. 70, 70, 70, this shroud, this cover. It's a stop motion freeze frame. It's a portrait in the dark. It's depression and obsession. The obsession and depression is death, death in all its forms, reliving deaths, parents in a cloudy morning haze, wishing I'd said things, trying to forgive, cinematic black and white montages, dead siblings, dead friends, dead warriors, faces in the night, hauntings, dark, shadowy films. So many died so young. I drift through years of death, years of Hail Mary full grace, mariachis at the gravesite, flag-draped coffins, women in black thinking relentlessly about death. My death, veteran cemetery, a lone bugler. What will people say? Should the band play Johnny Be Good? Down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, there lived a country boy named Johnny Be Good. He never ever learned to read or write so well, but he could play his guitar just like ringing a bell. So go, go, Johnny, go. Am I still on, folks?
Yes, you are.
Okay, because my screen keeps going blank. I have one more. This is called Just a Number. It was inspired by in a therapy session talking about this age thing, where the therapist said to me, Mr. DiFusco, it's just a number. Yes, it's just a number. Number 70. It's just a number. Number 70. It's just a number. Number 70, you're up. Number 70, please come to the front. Number 70, Johnny D. Johnny D. Is there a Johnny D in the house? The time is now. It's time to go. Time to go, Johnny, go. Get out of that bed. Stop all the dread, because you're really not dead. Yeah, my back's out of whack. I got cataracts, but I am never looking back. I'm getting older. I'm feeling bolder, like a soldier, bursitis in my shoulder, arthritis in my knees, but I still hold the keys to the kingdom. I ain't laying no blame. I ain't trying to explain. I'm just trying to explain. I'm a Zen Buddhist pagan with the warrior side. Yes, my eyes are open wide. I'm a real gone cat in my hipster hat. I'm a rolling stone dancing close to the bone. I do the twist. I do the bop. I do the Boston monkey on a rooftop. I'm a rocker and I'm a socker. I'm a poet and I know it, and I'm never gonna blow it, because I'm Johnny D, and that is the way to be. I'm coming out from the cover. I'm rising up from the shroud. One life, one mind, one beat from the street. So sweet. I'm a rocker and I'm a socker. I'm for real with the U.S. seal and a wheel of good fortune. Yes, Johnny D, it's the way to be, and I can see the big picture, the big picture, the big heart. It's the age. It is the age. It's the age to be a sage, to be a teacher, to be a healer, to be a wordsmith dealer. I'm a wild wolf set free from the cage. I am coming out. I am coming out. I am coming out of the darkness. I am stepping into the light. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
My screen just kept going blank. It was very distracting. Sorry, guys.
No, that's okay. I don't know why the sound has been going off, but
sometimes if there are too many people and too many video pictures, the sound will freeze. And so people will then stop their videos while the person's speaking. Sometimes that's what happens if there's too many pictures.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, well, as long as you could hear it. I mean, myself, I couldn't see anything, so I thought maybe I was going offline, actually.
we
Sounded great, John.
Cool, thanks.
Sounded great.
You're good. Yeah, really good.
So if we do a second round, I have something a little lighter and we'll see how it goes. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, John. Thank you so much. Okay, now let's welcome Mary Torregrossa.
Okay, thank you. This is, she wrote to me of trees, how the brawny oaks line the road with branches holding up the sky. The wood pile so wet she'd taken it apart to air the timber. She scattered logs, resting some on picnic table benches, on red brick walls that stayed the wild grasses. She propped them up on the cement cap of the old septic tank, like Stonehenge. I wrote back to tell her the dog had died, the only black one in a litter of gold born underneath her porch one summer. I told her the street was usually quiet at that hour, how we'd gone out to look at the autumn moon, and how the house was lonely now, how the dog and I had loved to walk the long way to her house after school. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, now let's have Jery Garcia. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. That was great, John. Can I be heard?
Yes.
I'm never sure. All right, I'm going to read this poem, John, and I see Loopy's here. I'm going to read this poem. I read this poem the night I met John at, we both were reading at Library Girl, and it was not, this poem was not written for his wife. I don't know if you remember this, John. Lupe. Named for La Virgen de Guadalupe by age 13, comparisons to the Virgin Mother are dubious. It is June 1968, our last day spent together in grade school. Lupe leads me to the overgrown bush of her rundown backyard. The Peter Pan blouse of her parochial school uniform unbuttons, her J.C. Penney brassiere unfastens to reveal sepia-toned flesh and purple nipples. Doe-eyed and pretty, she encourages me to touch. Trembling hands hesitate. Anticipation becomes a wet spot on blue corduroy. Lupe's eyes close with disdain. She reassembles into her honor student veneer and leaves me in her backyard alone. Skulking home, Santa Ana winds groan embarrassed voices of disappointment, snickering at lost expectations, failure, and shame. Summer becomes a restless collection of baseball cards and balsa wood airplanes, chewing gum and skateboards, Gomer Pyle on the television, and rock and roll in the transistor. I try not to think about Lupe, but when I find my brother's stash of Playboy magazines, I realize a new education, part fable, part science, not at all like Sister Mary Margaret's catechism. Ready to revisit Lupe and her garden's overgrowth, I ride my Sears Stingray bike to her dry weed neighborhood. Lupe sits alone on her father's broken porch, wearing pancake makeup, eyeliner, and killer mascara. I cut circles and wheelies on her sidewalk, summoning the necessary courage to say hello. She rises poised and confident, tall in borrowed high heels. Her chin tilts in the pose of an Aztec princess. Her silk blouse revealed push-up outlines of teenage breasts. In slow motion, her dark eyes and glossy lips come toward me. The warm wind carries the sounds of distant children at play. A distant radio starts, brown-eyed girl. Loopy saunters within reach, the adult aroma of perfume and the sweetness of her glossy smile overcome my bicycle balance. I stumble and grab the handlebars as she passes by. I can only gaze. Tire squeals and the booming rhythm of a 440 Chevy Camaro's idles breaking into my daydream. Muscle-bound high school senior Antonio opens the door. She gracefully takes her seat. Her nylon leg slides over the tuck and roll. Sitting on my banana seat, sniffling in torn jeans and dusty keds. I wonder, how did Lupi become so much older? How did I become invisible? Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. Okay. Dig Wayne, are you there? Okay.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Good seeing you all, hearing you all. This is a piece I wrote last week. It's called The Body of Poetry. The body of poetry lives inside the bathroom wall like old razor blades. The body of poetry lives in a cozy warren of dust bunnies. Protecting the soul of poetry as it transcends words, making the page an insufficient grip to hold a body as much or as little as it deems necessary to survive. The body of poetry lives under a rat's tail, an eagle's scream, a whippoorwill's song, and dance with big toothy grins where poetry breathes between the gaps, where inspiration keeps its own an undetermined estimated time of arrival. The tip of a newborn baby's index finger holds the same taste of humanity as your father's soup-stained mustache. The body of poetry is nobody and all there is or has been. Before the word was snatched from the wind and alphabets corralled imaginations, gibberish was a golden echo riding bareback through a forest of metaphors. Nations of alliteration salute a flag of rhyming slang, never wet on the tongues of kings or queens. The body of poetry curls up under the executioner's hood, rides on cherub's wings, sweats out the blindfold on a firing squad's captured hero's sweetheart's embrace. Calling back love from beyond the powder burns your last meal with a crispy sonnet tucked tenderly inside the meatloaf. Recipe, the body found at the scene, no next of kin, riffing on the ancient orphan's dotage. Vital signs remain stable, but staying overnight for observation revealed the deceased was never there, but in every corner of every human sense of humanity. We shall gather in thee for us, she, he, they, them, and those belong to you, but you belong to no one, no explanation needed or ably rendered. The fragile egg that falls from the vulture's nest is subject to the same gravity as the rose petals at your feet. The same sun shines on the meteor hurtling toward earth as the roof of a church, a mosque, or a temple. The body of poetry lived in the belly of Buddha, the brown shirted shoulders of Mussolini, the beard of Christ, the red hair of Malcolm X, the clean hands of Allah. The body of poetry lives in a nude laboratory mouse with a human ear on its back, hearing nothing but questions, asking, where for art thou cheese? The body of poetry swims in the belly of a whale, rolling, diving like a graceful skyscraper, leaping and crashing down Fifth Avenue, leaving bubbles of glass and still bones in its wake. The lily pad, the tadpole, the old pond. The light of a candle can burn down your house in the springtime, but the body of poetry will live in the ashes. The body of poetry lives in the bark of trees and dogs, the purr of cats, the fumes of mankind. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Alex Stein.
Hi, thank you. This is called The Castle. There was a time long ago when the open road called to me. Tires on asphalt, rhythmic thumping, radio stations fading out and others fading in. My solace was the road ahead, my goal the destination. My heartfelt desire was to transform the starting point into a footnote, something easily forgotten. We were young, penitent adventurers, uncertain of our exact sins, but confident that healing awaited us at road's end, even if that required driving 17 hours. Why do you want to drive at night, she said. The scenery is beautiful. Don't you want to see it? I do, I said, but sometimes we need to put the miles behind us. For years, I loved driving after dark, late at night. Portals to other worlds open up as our notions of space and time get squeezed. And if you listen carefully, you can literally hear the distinct sounds of individual molecules. My girlfriend and I had just moved to Los Angeles, and we drove to Colorado Springs 3 years in a row to spend Thanksgiving with friends. 1,100 miles, 17 hours without traffic, 18 if you stop once or twice. 3 years in a row. We left LA Wednesday afternoon, got to Arizona and New Mexico after sunset, drove through the night, and arrived sometime Thanksgiving around noon. We'd stay a few days, turn around, and drive back. On the way, the desert reflected the romance of the open road, fast food signs, long-haul truckers, and lights from the occasional city. Just before New Mexico, we'd pass something magical right off the highway with nothing around for 100 miles on either side, lit up like a castle in the middle of the desert, turrets stretching up to meet the sky. Someday, I thought, someday I'll stop. Someday I will visit this castle and meet the king and queen. We were broke, but we were happy. And our Colorado friends were slightly less broke and a bit happier. They had a kid after our third Colorado Thanksgiving. We realized maybe we enjoyed these November trips more than they did. We were still welcome, but maybe not at Thanksgiving, and definitely not every year. We left early that third year, partly because we had to go back to work and partly because our friends were tired, but mostly because they didn't have the heart to tell us not to come and we didn't have the brains to figure it out for ourselves. Off we go. Down I-25, mountains turn to plateaus and plains, past Santa Fe and Albuquerque, merging onto I-40 through Navajo and Apache lands, nations within nations, passing by and passing through in a crappy French car built in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which will die a few months later. We'd fortify ourselves with truck stop pretzels and sodas, speed through the desert wearing t-shirts and shorts, sweating inside a black car without air conditioning, windows open, talking heads blasting from a slightly warped cassette that lived in the glove compartment of that car for 2 years until it warbled from the heat in a way that oddly enhanced David Byrne's voice. We're going to pass the castle, I announce, in the daylight. We don't have time to stop, she says dismissively, and I cannot fathom why she's not more excited. We don't have to stop, I say, but we can at least wave to the king and queen. And she rolls her eyes at me in a way that indicates that she is too hot to argue with my nonsense. Tires thump over seams in asphalt. Chris Frantz and Tina Weymouth hold down the bottom, making the Boston acoustic speakers jump and throb. Colorado seems like a hazy dream as we slip into Arizona. Not far, not long now. Repeating rhythms of the open road, so very, very, very glamorous, except Magic is harder to spot in the light of day. There's no darkness to hide the litter at the side of the road. We see the castle approaching just off the highway, a mile or two away, but there's no beauty, no enchantment, no waiting royals. I turn and stare as we pass, sunlight revealing what the nights kept hidden. My mythic, magic, majestic structure so filled with promise and possibility is a power plant. The turrets are smokestacks, spitting dark pollution 24/7. It's invisible against the night sky, but impossible to miss in daylight. 605 megawatts from 3 gas and coal turbines churn out enough kilowatt hours to power 420,000 business and residential customers in Arizona, California, and New Mexico. 8 more hours and we're home, back to the mundane start, which is never as exciting as that endless stretch of open road. We never make that drive again. The girlfriend and I split up 6 months later. Distance separates us from our friends in Colorado who go on to have kids and then grandkids, chasing hopes and dreams that somehow don't involve me at all. We're still bonded by a friendship forged in our tumultuous 20s, but unsure what it's morphed into in the decades since. Still, every time I'm on a highway at night, I think about those shimmering lights and my imagined castle in the desert where you can safely ignore what you don't yet know and celebrate the things you can only imagine. It's a place without disappointments where everything's possible and you are always greeted by a king and queen who only come out at night to nurture your deepest dreams as you drive past in the dark. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Alex. Okay. All right, moving on. Pamela Clay.
Thank you so much, Elena. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to be here. And I've just been amazed by everyone. I'm on my phone, otherwise I would have been chatting away. And I wanted to say to John, I so appreciated everything that you had to share tonight. And I was actually in a production of A Piece of My Heart. If you remember, there was a repertory production of Tracers and A Piece of My Heart in Hollywood in the summer of '99 at
Yes.
Blue Sphere Alliance in Hollywood. Well, I was the rock and roll singer, Mary Jo. And, earlier Elena had mentioned that I was a singer, and I thought, because I was going to do one of Mary Jo's monologues, but then I thought, no, it's far too depressing. We don't need that. So I thought, okay, then I will sing in French. These are actually my lyrics adapted to Michel Legrand's music for the musical, if you remember, The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. And this is I Will Wait for You, but my adaptation. So here we go. And I just did this, Elena, in my show Saturday night. So these are brand new tracks by David Moscow. Here we go. Si ça me prend pas toujours, j'attends ton retour. Oh, une centaine d'étés, j'attends ton retour. Quand t'es à mon côté, je te tiens tout près et j'entends ta voix doucement murmurer. N'importe où tu voyages, n'importe où tu vas, garde le souvenir, mon amour pour toi, dans ton cœur Le temps que tu retournes et tu me trouves ici et que mes bras d'amour. Si ça me pour toujours, j'attends ton retour pour une centaine d'étés. J'attends ton retour quand t'es à mon côté. Je te tiens tout près et j'entends ta voix doucement pleurer. Et je t'attendrai toute la terre, ni terre.
Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you so
Thank-
much, Elena.
Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful song. I know some of those lyrics in Romanian.
I'm sure you do, and I would love to hear them.
Yeah, someday I'll get them together. So
Okay.
gorgeous. Okay, moving on. Lois, do you have another?
I do, but maybe other people, I'm fine to,
All
come
right.
around again.
Jonas, are you going to read? Jonas Goodman? Okay. Do we have anybody else who hasn't had a first round? Marla?
Can anyone read?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
I'll
an-
read.
Please do.
All right. This is the beginning of my one-woman show called Strip. I do it fully clothed. That was a joke. All right.
You're muted. You're muted, Marla.
Thank you. Did you read my lips or should I start over? This is the beginning of my one-woman show called Strip that I do fully clothed. My head held high, I walked the prairie ready for natural encounters with warthogs, armadillos, and porcupine. Some humans and the occasional Roman god. Only the essentials in my backpack. Doc Brown's all-purpose soap, freeze-dried salsa and H2O. My curls stuck to the back of my neck mixed with sweat and dust as I evolve into a hobo, a free-range chick on the dusty trail of life. No need to speak, really. No one around to listen. No need to respond. The direction I choose is all up to me. No utterances of false positives to entice me into shadowland, expecting to find sunshine where there is none. No pretending to be someone I'm not. No accepting others on false pretensions, just to accept them as is. No more package deals, no more paying dues, no more casting couch, no more cattle calls, only a wide expanse, a canvas on which I paint a picture shaded with rose-colored hues and violets and peaceful images of quail with their young toddling behind them. A wondrous dusk approaches me, hugging me from the side. My blinders are off. My peripheral vision increased to incorporate my surrounding without any obstructions of view. I take in a breath of air and hold it until, wiggling like a rattlesnake on the ground, my hiccups subside. In the wide open quiet, hiccups echo and mountains move 1/100th of an inch. I can move mountains with hiccups. I can do anything if I can move mountains, but I just want to sweat and sleep off the inebriated effects of a society that wears filters like dryers, air conditioners, cars, to sift out the bad and the destructive. Sometimes filters clog and break and fail to function, and no one is left on the planet that knows exactly how to repair them. So the challenge becomes human sensibilities. We must rely on ourselves to become human filters, to filter out bullshit, moon dust, spaghetti, dust, and other humans that can penetrate a ruptured filter. The last time we met, we did not end great. She regurgitated as she crushed me with her DDs in an unexpectedly awkward embrace. I'd like to start over again if that's okay with you. Okay, I'd like that light its way out of my pie hole. Why did I say hello? Why didn't I let her walk on by in her miserable make-believe world? My filter must have been in the off position. I step on an armadillo, I caress a porcupine, and I sleep with warthogs as I bleed from wounds inflicted by humans, my own species. I gaze up at a wise owl, snuggle into the hog den, and look for my first star, wishing that calm will sweep over my world like whitewash on a picket fence, like morning dew, like the peaceful gaze of a corpse who once lived on this planet we call home. Before sleep, I sip some H2O and inject myself with freeze-dried salsa. Slipping into slumber, I meditate with sounds of wise gray owls hooting at the moon, hoping my wishes come true. The stars are twinkling, dancing the natural dance of constellations, constelling, conferring about which one wish they will grant this clear and lusty night. My eyelids heavy, fall, hope, sleep, slumber, peace, except for the warthog snorting to the distant beating of human feet, pounding pavements, squashing spirits. Ow! The box, my box, shallow, juicy, dull, sparse, star-spangled vapidness rerunning through the snow, creating anew only to cancel beforehand. The hype, the failure, the allure of the new fall season. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Marla.
Thank you. Unde este toaleta?
Okay, anybody else? All right. Well, I'll do this one short poem of mine called Oars. I will wear oars in my hair and let the breeze take me to any sea it wishes. I will call the dolphins and they will simply guide the boat. The moon will make sure that the night will not darken my path. Okay, so Steve McCormick.
Elena,
Yes.
could I do one more? Or are you wrapping up? Where are we going?
No, this is just the first round.
Okay.
You can go again.
Got it.
Your folks are still here from the East Coast, right?
I think so, yeah. It's fine. I didn't know if you were wrapping up or not. That's all.
No, it's only 10 o'clock. We're just
Okay.
So why don't you go, John? And Steve and Heather maybe get ready? Okay.
Okay. I wanted to do this one. I wanted to share this one in particular because of my family back east, because it does have some imagery from New England where I grew up. It came out of a class that I took at a Center for Spiritual Living, in which there was a long discussion about grace and about the subject of grace and grace in a spiritual sense. And I went home and I wrote these two little stories called The Story of Grace. I first met Grace when I was 7 years old. The woods behind our home go on for miles, dense and green as far as the eye can see. One summer day, a tiny voice whispers from pretty pink lady slipper blossoms. I squat down on green moss, a closer look, dragonfly wings, sprightly purple green luminous being, a silky finger touching my fresh young face. A whisper, I am Grace, Johnny. Follow me. Always follow me. I begin to glow and to grow She begins to glow and to grow, rising from clear water and flits and flies and runs farther and deeper into the woods. I am Grace, Johnny, I am Grace. Follow me, always follow me. Chasing after her over black stone colonial walls, over Mohegan ruins where ancient arrowheads lie. There is a history in these woods, and it speaks to me, it speaks to my 7-year-old heart. Chasing after her, panting and sweating and breathing in the great spirit, a pathway lined with purple wildflowers. I am Grace, Johnny, I am Grace, follow me. Time to wake up, Johnny, time to wake up from the dream. You are all with the all. You are a circle, you are a sphere. My body expanding into one with the green, all with the all, a clearing ahead, a field of breezy grass. Perching on a big silvery rock, she glimmers and shimmers. A luminous hand beckons gently. I approach. Tattered holy blue jeans through meadow grass. I fall to my knees, bathing in the light, the awareness, the grace. She touches my shiny, sweaty face. A shiver, a high frequency jolt goes through my body, and then she ascends, a cloud angel, smiling down on me. I am Grace, Johnny. Follow me. Always follow me. At the age of 14, I had an early morning paper route. I love waking up. I love the solitude of 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock a.m., 1960, sleepy small town America. At the corner of Lake Street and Main Street, I load up the saddlebags of my shiny red Schwinn with 63 morning telegrams. It's spring, it's cool, and it's frosty. I'm pumping that bike up the first hill, up Lake Street past the darkened Webster Library, the concrete pillars of the town hall, and the steeples and vines of old brick St. Louis Church. I hear Grace echoing off the church, and in the drum beat of my own youthful heart. I am Grace, Johnny, I am Grace. Follow me, always follow me. I see the angelic figure in the steam of my breath. I keep pumping that Schwinn and following Grace. I toss newspapers on front doorsteps, into hallways and up to second floor tenements. The families are quiet, they are just stirring. The smell of percolating coffee seeps through doorways, and I hear the whisper of Grace. I hear the whisper of Grace in the silence of the families. Leaning that Schwinn into a right turn onto Park Avenue, the sun is shining over the richer part of town. Dream homes with rolling green, finely manicured lawns, great weeping willows and tall, strong pines. Light beams spiral off the frosty front yards. Happy dogs yip and yap. They dance their happy dance of the morning, and I hear her voice in their cheerful barks. I am Grace, Johnny. I am Grace. I am here for you. Follow me. Always follow me, Johnny.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Okay, Steve.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Say the word, remember, hold the line, don't get blurred. If your speech has not been slurred, meaning will have been inferred. Go on, say the word, little remember, don't want it ever be transferred. I'm not dead ever be encouraged. Just say the word. Hummingbird wanted out of time. Such a short attention span. Hummingbird, I can read your mind. It says catch me if you can. Hummingbird running out of time. Such a short attention span. Hummingbird, I can read your mind. It says catch me if you can. Yeah, you said my little hummingbird, your little wings don't dip turning. Oh my God, did occur, 'cause you said the word little hummingbird. Yeah, you said the word little hummingbird. Passion, it will surely start, 'cause I am home man, won't be deterred when you say a word. Sweet hummingbird. Da-da-da-da. 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 Da-da-da-da.
Nice, nice, nice. Love it.
Thank you.
Got to sing one for Juneteenth tomorrow, our new national holiday.
Right on.
Oh, just like the river I've been ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change will come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond that sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change
change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. People keep telling me you don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. I go to my brother. I say, brother, tell me please. But you eyes not getting me. Back down on my knees. Oh, there've been times that I thought that I couldn't last for long. Now I think I'm able, yes, I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will.
Yes, yes, yes.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, Sinead, yes.
I'll read just one more. It's getting bright and morning here, but yous are all probably heading into darkness. This poem is called Lullaby. I hear wolves clamor from the past. I imagine they stand on top of Kesh Karan, pack tilted moonwards, heckles glowing with Jupiter. Is it just a distant howl of wind caught in the grey willows? I hear my father call out in his sleep long after he is gone. It's the neighbours' cattles lowing about, arguing over the best bit of field, the warmest spot in the coldest corner. Our ancestors walked the world from here. Their homes lie indented in the hollows. Ring forts richly decorate every perch and acre. I can hear their children laughing, soft breaths, ghost-like as last year's John o' Gold harvest, less mean. Kilty Tig, Kilnahary, Kildargan Moor, townlands, forests without trees. The wolves grow closer, sounds rounded by the breeze that licks at this hill. I fold myself into sleep. The wolves grow closer still. Thanks very much for having me. It's been really loved all the music and all your words. It's really lovely, very special. Thank you.
Thank you, Sinéad McClure, everybody, all the way from Ireland. We love your stories, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Yes. So we continue with Lois P. Jones. And Lois, if you don't know, has this wonderful radio show, Poets Cafe, on KPFK. And you can find a lot of our friends there. Anyway, please welcome Lois P. Jones.
No. So I'll read a short poem from my series, which is based on, so I'm a big fan of Rilke, and I've been writing poems based on the memoir of his housekeeper who lived with him for the last 5 years of his life in Museau, from around 1921 to 1926. So this is called Closed. Oh, and I went there to Museau in 2017 and visited the chateau, though I couldn't go inside, so that's why this is called Closed. And I also visited his grave when I was there. Closed. And the road was paved and sloped upward towards our house. It was dirt then, and when the summer had let out its last hot breath, the walk from Sierre and up the path would leave you covered in dust. The roof casts shadow over your balcony. If I squint, you might be there. Something moves, but it's a tall fern the wind has pushed into aliveness. The white fence, mostly grayed now and peeling, all along the edge of the house and down to where I stand near the vineyard. The yellowed leaves after the last harvest. And how could I expect you would open the door? You, a 100-year-old ghost who are more alive in your absence. Alive the way you would like words to be. The soft shadows of the roses, the dried leaves in a rusted pot. This thrush singing so ecstatically right now. Outside of here, the world is a stone, immovable, lonely. I'm trying to shake the sun loose from your old watering can. That's it.
Thank you, Lois. Okay. Thank you so much. We learned so much about Rilke, so it's wonderful. Jery Garcia, please.
Oh, thank you. This poem's I just wrote it a couple of days ago after reading a story from my friend about unrequited love. And there's some serendipity here. I'm nervous to read this in front of Sinead because it's called The Deep Heart's Core after William Butler Yeats. I will take your picture now in the long shadows of this golden hour where oak branches grow ginger in their autumn bareness. I shall frame your face to rest on my mantle, to see your comely gaze through the expected rains. Your eyes watch the spring rise with green sureness. Soon summer trees dry. I will take your picture now. Your soft speech will comfort me when I drive a woodland road or stroll a fertile meadow. I hear your voice and the deep heart's core. Thank
Jery, I live in Yates County, so you did him proud.
you. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was actually, I had a prompt. I did a series of prompts this last Poetry Month, and my friend Jamie O'Halloran, who lives in Outercare, anyway, she phoned that one in, so it had that Irish thing all the way.
Good. I'm going to have to leave, everybody, because I've been up all night and I'm getting tired. But
Okay.
it's been a lovely experience. Thank you very much for having me.
Would you like to do
really
another short one, Sinead?
Okay, I'll leave you with one. Sure. Let me see.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Not at all. I had one that I was going to read in the first set, so I'll include that if I can find it. Actually, I'll read a very short one. And I was saying by private message there to the McCormick connection, because my mother was a McCormick from Boylan, County Roscommon, which I live only 10 miles from now. And a lot of her aunties and uncles went to the States, obviously through Ellis Island. So we probably have plenty of them out there. So I'm going to read a poem for her. This is called 6 Years Later. The blue of you is fading, from Picardy to powder. No outline left, just a smaze of spring colour, like gentian and speedwell, unscented and sparse. Thanks again, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Come again. Thank you, Sinead. All right. Mary.
Hi, thanks. What a great evening this has been. What a great morning for some people.
All right.
This is recent. This is called Eating M&Ms Behind His Mask. On the airplane, his mother offers her boy little multicolored milk chocolate pieces. They fit perfectly into his open hand and perfectly into his mouth. His chin and jaw on a hinge. His maw moves up and down behind his mask. Opens and closes, but we don't see his teeth chopping the candy buttons. We don't see his brown stained teeth or when he licks his lips, drooling into the fabric face covering. I shuffle sideways into my row to sit by the window. It's June 2021. I'm a little nervous in the crowded plane, but oh, how happy the boy is. He kicks the seat in front of him, my seat. Massaging my lower back, I pretend I'm in the vibrating chair at the All Good Nails and Spa, getting a pedicure, and not a million some odd miles up in the stratosphere. His mother says, don't kick the seat in front of you, my seat. And he's so happy. She kisses him and he kicks the seat again. Now he's singing, looking down at puffy white clouds out the airplane window. How are you doing? His mother says, smiling with her eyes from behind her mask. I'm doing good, Mama, he says. I'm just here, looking at some clouds.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Okay, Dig Wayne.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
This one's called The Day, What Belongs to the Day. I ask the earth to bless me with all of man's experiences, all of women's joys and torments, all of children's tears and birthday parties. Let me somehow be the hidden soul of record, scouting people's tics, broods, whims, explosions, catastrophes, behaviors unseen, a collective, an assemblage of all, forever changing without me, but never leaving me out. May I walk in the rain with the sun on my face, feel the sting of icy water, icy winter gales against my cheeks, while tulips bloom in my heart. Hear the yip of displaced coyotes while settling into the contented hoot of a watchful owl. Let the cosmos adopt me through fire, singeing my edges with indelible sleeves of existence. Let the cosmos adopt me through blood, transporting me like oxygen to the heart of everything, and nothing can escape without passing through me of note. I ask this of the earth, willing to accept that I may already be in possession by the agency of presence. But I am too blind to believe it and too humbled by the possibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dig. Okay, I think the people are sort of fading away. John, do you have another?
I wasn't prepared, but I'm sure I could find something if you want some.
Okay, I'll go to somebody else and then I'll come to you.
Okay.
Marla, do you have another, Marla?
Sorry to interrupt, Elena. I have to go. I promised my son that I would watch an anime with him, so I have to go.
Okay,
Right.
well, thank you so much for being here, Dig.
Thank you. Thank
See
you,
you
John.
soon.
Good hearing you,
I'm
John.
gonna, I got one here. This one just makes me laugh. I wrote this a long time ago. It's called Cockroach Love. They've got wings, they are big, they are gross, they are brown, they are black, they are dirty, they are germy, they are mutants, they are pests, they are creepy, they are many, they are multiplying. Cockroach love, doesn't matter who's above or below, they will grow in numbers larger than. Cockroach sense is human sense, since we are dying, they shall live. We will feed them till they're giants, because we like them in our kitchen, in our butter, in our beds. Cockroach love, doesn't matter who's above or below, they will grow in numbers larger than. As a pet, as a brother, as a friend, as a lover, mutant insect flying larva, blow the candle, make a wish, pitter patter on my dish. In the nighttime when it's dark, growing stronger by the minute. Cockroach love, doesn't matter who's above or below, they will grow in numbers larger than. Given names, polished numbers, cockroach faces in the summer. Harness up, pull the reins, win the world, suck my veins. There goes Count, there goes Vicky, careful Davy, that floor's sticky. Bet $1, come on, holler, everyone. Cockroach love. Doesn't matter who's above or below. They will grow in numbers larger than. Thank you.
Marla.
I mean, I just came here really to support John. I had no idea I'd be reading, so I just am pulling what's to the left of me.
You've been great. You've been great.
Thanks, John. So have you, everybody.
Yes, everyone was
It's a
so
cool night. Yeah.
yeah. Hard to get that feeling of being in the same room, but at the same time, I think we kind of accomplished it. It feels a little bit like we got together and we're having that communal experience.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. And by the way, next month, I'm celebrating 10 years of hosting the Rap Saloon.
Right on.
Is that what this evening is called, the Rap Saloon?
Well, the Rap Saloon is a space in Santa Monica, which is where we used to do it.
Oh, I see.
So it's a historical space, first brick building in Santa Monica.
Cool.
A beautiful little space right in the center of town.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great acoustics.
I live near downtown Culver City, so I'm not too far away. All right. Thanks for
Okay.
letting me read and having me. I appreciate
Sure.
it.
Thank you. Thank you, Marla.
Mhm.
John.
Sure. You want something? Okay, this one's been around for a while. I wrote this in 2007. It's a reflection of, it was part of a solo show that I did called Walking Through the Fire, which had a lot to do with grief, had a lot to do with the deaths of several siblings. So I do mention their names in here, but it's not a downer. It's called Living and Loving. In the morning comes the morning, but I'm feeling all right. Got an angel on my shoulder. She helps me see the light. When I'm walking through the fire, my angel lifts me higher. She's teaching me my bliss, teaching me my joy, teaching me to keep living and loving till the angels sing, yes, yes, yes. I am dancing on a cloud and I'm singing real loud. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. That's amore. We're going to lose all confusion, all sickness and illusion, all guilt, all anger, all regret. Just be here now, because this is the day that Spirit has made, and I shall rejoice and be glad in it. I shall rejoice and be glad in it. My brother Matty made 60 and I'm feeling pretty nifty. So dance with me, Dolly. Chat with me, Pat. Feast with me, Michael, and let's get fat. Freddie's riding on a Harley and a highway in the sky. Julie is a cherub who never had to cry. We are coming on home. Yeah, we're coming on home. We're getting on back to the spiritual zone. We are living and loving till the angels sing, yes, yes, yes. We are living and loving till the angels sing, yes, yes, yes.
Thank you. That was great. Well, thank you so
Yes.
much. Any last words, Jery, Mary? Okay, well, thank you. And Evelyn, thank you so much for being here and being so supportive.
She's still. All
All
right.
right. Well,
So
I don't.
everybody, good to see you, Jery. Good to see Jay. Good to see you, Marla. Right on. New people that I haven't met before. Nice to meet you. Right
Nice
on.
to meet you, John.
I can end with a song or a short poem myself.
Oh,
What's it?
sing.
Thing. Okay. All right. Something cool. I'd like to order something cool. It's so warm here in town and the heat gets me down. Yes, I'd like something cool. My, it's nice to simply sit and talk a while. And I know it's a shame I can't think of your name. I remember your smile. I don't ordinarily sit with strangers. I most usually sit alone. But you were so awfully nice to ask me, and I am so terribly far from home. Like my dress, I must admit it's very, very old. But it's simple and neat. It's just right for the heat. Save my furs for the cold. A cigarette? Well, I don't smoke them as a rule, but I'll have one. It could be fun with something cool. I bet you could imagine that I one time had a house with so many rooms, I couldn't count them all. I bet you couldn't imagine I had 15 different beaux who would beg and beg to take me to the ball. And I bet you couldn't picture me the time I went to Paris in the fall, or that the man I loved was quite so handsome, quite so tall. Well, I guess it's just the memory I had when I almost forgot, 'cause the weather's so hot and I'm feeling so sad about a date. Oh no, just wait. I'm such a fool. He's just the guy who stopped to buy me something cool. Thank
That
you.
was great. That was
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you for staying. Thank you, John. Thank you, Marla. Thank you, Evelyn, Mary, Sinead. Yes,
Great weekend, everyone. Stay cool.
Mary, thank you.
Everybody in the whole country is suffering from such heat, so everybody stay cool.
It's been so great here. We were sort of told about this incredible heat. And I don't know, where I am, it's just beautiful, breezy.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Are
Well,
you
you're by the ocean, aren't you?
No, mid Wilshire, Beverly Hills. But happy Father's Day, and thank you to our fathers who brought us here.
Right, thank you.
Right.
So
Good to see everybody.
thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Take care.
Bye, John. Bye, Lupe.
All right, Marla, bye. See you later.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Hi, bye. Bye, Lupe. Bye.